ॐ वाङ् मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य आणीस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासि अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ. Om. May my speech be accorded with the mind. May my mind be accorded with the speech. O self-effulgent one Brahman, reveal thyself to me. May you both speech and mind be the carriers of the highest truth to me. May not all that I have heard depart from me. May I be able to join day and night through this study with Brahman. I shall utter what is verbally true. I shall utter what is mentally true. May that Brahman protect me. May that Brahman protect the teacher. May that protect me. May that protect the teacher. Om. Peace, peace. Peace be unto you all. Good morning. This morning I am going to speak on a very important, practical, conceptual, spiritual principle which we can use in our day-to-day life and which is very helpful if we can understand and think on it. It will help us to a great extent. The structure of animal society is divided into labor division. It is the division of labor. If you see the family of bees, or if you see the families of ants, their society is structured on the basis of division of labor. But if you see the human society, it is not so simple. It is not divided, or it is not structured on the basis of division of labor. Take the example, it is a complex web, and the relations among the individuals. This is the characteristic of human society. Take the example, an individual. Let us consider a male member of the society or a female member of the society. A female member of the society is a daughter of someone. A female member of the society is mother. She is a friend. She is a citizen. She is a colleague. So, an individual is playing different role. So when she is with her mother, then she is a daughter. Then when she is with her sons and daughters, then she is a mother. Then she has a friend, she has a colleague. So, an individual in human society is playing different role, and it has different relation with different persons. Sometimes in single role they have to play in different ways. Take the example of a friend. That lady is friend of someone, and she behaves with different friends in different ways. So, in the role play, an individual plays different role in a same role play. And obviously, in different role plays, she has to play. So see, the human society is a complex web-like and a relation between different people. So this kind of structure, according to the psychology, is called ego structure. And who is playing this role in an individual? It is ego. Ego is playing all these roles as a daughter, as a mother, as a friend, as a colleague. The ego is playing all these roles. Ego performs several important functions in everyday life. It is our interpreter and the mediator. The important function of ego in our life is it intermediates between ourself and the world. So our relation to the world or society or other human being depends upon the function of our ego. How can ego mediate Atman or self and the world? Actually, ego is guarding us from internal and external dangers. Our concept of ego is not very good. We think ego is not a very good thing. But ego helps us for guarding our internal and external relations. Take the example, how it guards externally. You are here and I am here. If you say or criticize me by saying something, or if I criticize you by saying something, immediate, I will react or you will react. And the reaction will be defensive mechanism. Immediately I will say, no, I am not like that. And I give some argument, I did this because of 1, 2, 3, 4 causes. This is the function of ego. In this way, ego guards us. Immediately, ego jump into the field to protect us, to guard us externally. And internally, if we are emotionally sad or become angry, ego tries to bring us down to the equilibrium state. Our normal human tendency is to stay in the equilibrium state. The ideal state of human being is the equilibrium state. You might have remembered that in Bhagavad Gita, the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna very clearly said, and that is the highest teaching, because second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is the most important chapter. And there, why? Because there in that chapter, Sri Krishna gave the highest teachings to Arjuna. And what is the highest teachings? Keep yourself in the equilibrium state. That is the highest teaching. So, Bhagavad Gita doesn't say directly that you want liberation, this is the way of liberation, this is in the practical field, in the battlefield. So in the battlefield, Sri Krishna is giving teachings. Sri Krishna is rendering some kind of spiritual teachings to Arjuna, and says that be yourself in the equilibrium state. So it is our normal nature to keep ourselves, and ego is guarding us like that. That is the function of ego, internally. And externally, yes, guarding us by self-defense mechanism. So this is the function of ego. Ego is also our internal auditor, judge, and critic. Ego only says that, okay, it is not good, don't do that. It is definitely buddhi, but buddhi is the discriminating factor. You do this, you don't do this. But this buddhi is coming through the colored glass of ego. I said my buddhi, my intellect. So this my part is none but ego. So it is also our critic. It is also our dreamer, visionary, and seeker. So the function, our energy, our intellect, our emotion, our fear, our courage, actually it is a kind of colored glass through which everything is coming out. So our relation with this world coming through the colored glass of ego. What I am right now is nothing but the reflection of my ego. And through these five senses, I am connected with you. Five senses are nothing but the instrument. But behind that instrument, ego is functioning. And this ego, obviously, you can remember that Sri Ramakrishna, in his very lucid way, he says that there are two types of ego. One is the ripe one is the tender one. Pakami kachami. So the ripe ego is the ahamkara. In Sanskrit it is called ahamkara, the capital E in ego. And the tender ego is called egoism. So the point is, ego, what is ego? Ego is the I awareness. It is the higher ego or the ripe ego. This kind of characteristics only human being is having. Animal cannot have these characteristics. I am talking from this pulpit and I am aware that I am speaking from here. You are sitting there and you are listening to this lecture, and you are aware that you are sitting there and you are listening the lecture. A dog, an animal, do not have that kind of awareness. They listen something, they listen. At the same time, they cannot aware that they are sitting, at the same time they are listening. Only human being has this kind of awareness of self. We are aware that I am standing here. You are aware that you are sitting there. Only human being has this kind of awareness. So ego is this awareness. I am the doer. I did this. That is our ego. So this awareness, I is the agent. It is simply awareness. I do this, I am. So this is, according to Sri Ramakrishna, is the pakahami or the ripe ego. Then what is the tender ego? Tender ego is called egoism. When this ego, I awareness, is identified or connected or objectified with the role play, then we call it egoism. I am. This is called selfhood or egoity. But when it comes to me, then it is called egoism. As for example, I am a human being. Let me explain the difference between this. I am a human being. There is no problem in it. I am a human being is ego. But I am a daughter. I am a friend. So egoism is objectified or identified with the role play. I am a software engineer. I am a doctor. I am a human being. At the same time, I am a doctor. So this doctor, software engineer, friend, daughter, all these are the role play. Who is playing this role? I. So I am a human being. So human being is ego. But the daughter, friend, mother, colleague, all these are the identification of ego with the role play, which is called egoism. So egoism is the wrong type of self-objectification. Ego identifies with our emotion, feeling, social factors, and then it becomes egoism. It becomes me, my preference, my role play. It becomes me or my role play as a mother, my role play as a daughter, my role play as a friend. Take another example. I am a friend, and one of my friends hurts me. I am very sorry, I am very sorry because one of my friends insulted me. But at the same time, as a mother, I am very happy because one of my sons got the excellent prize in his examination in the school. So as a mother, I am very happy, but as a friend, I am very sad. So what we do in this situation? We shall keep it as it is. I am happy, at the same time I am sad. We do not do so many things, The ultimate resultant is that in which role I am identified more, my mental situation will be like that. If I am very close to my friends, okay, at the same time I am happy because my son got the prize. So, So it is a very complex, and at the same time it is very interesting, and our identification with this role play. So what is the situation and how it happens? So our main objective is to get rid of the suffering, that is the main cause. We need happiness, peace of mind and happiness. And these are the causes of our problem. So how to get rid of that? That is the main question. So the ancient seers of India, they say, ego is not a problem. We have ego from the moment we were born. Immediately we have the ego. A baby, when it is born, cries immediately. It is a sign that I exist. I am here. So ego is connected from the moment we are born. But this identification of ego with mother, with daughter, with friend, with colleague, slowly it will develop. So this egoism, this identification of ego is the cause of our suffering. So who suffers? Friend suffers. But the mother is happy. Mother is happy, but friend suffers. But as a human being, I myself, I am the mother, I am the friend, I am the daughter. As a human being, well, I am not limping for that. Take the example, one of my friends, it is unfortunate, passed away. For that, what happened? I may be sorry. My body will be intact. I do not limp for that. So everything is happening, I will be intact. Maybe, yes, definitely there is some impact on my mind, but physically I am fine. There will be no problem with that, unless when I die, everything will finish. So our connection, our objectification, our identity, that is the cause of our suffering. Take another example. You saw in the dark place, probably here is a night class, and while returning, you found, oh, it may be a snake. You are afraid of that. Hey, 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 you shouted. Immediately everybody rushed there and found it is a rope. So, it is a common example in Vedanta, the snake and rope. So, this principle is called Odhyaropo or Odhyasa. There are intellect. There are three types of intellect in Indian philosophy. One is called, actually four. One is called very simple, smriti, memory. In memory, we can get very good score in our school. Then the other is called dhriti. In Bhagavad Gita, you can find sattika dhriti. Dhriti is that the principle that we learn, one-pointedness. That is called dhriti. And obviously, by dhriti, we can also have very good result in our school. Then medha. Medha is a kind of outstanding intellect. Take the example of Einstein's intellect, Newton's intellect, Hawking's intellect. It's an outstanding intellect, medha. And then the spiritual intellect is called dhi. You cannot understand inner spiritual growth. How can we understand the inner spiritual growth? It is experience. How can we have some experience within? We can easily understand I am happy, I am sad. We can understand easily. Because the standard of intellect that we are having, through that, we can easily understand this. But the spiritual experience, it is a very higher kind of thing. With this normal human intellect, we cannot understand that. For understanding that, a higher kind of intellect is required. And that kind of intellect is called dhi. You see in Gayatri Mantra, the second line of Gayatri Mantra is Dhiyo Yonav Prachodayat. It means that the intellect dhi initiates us to attain the absolute. So in ordinary intellect we cannot understand the absolute. With dhi we can understand the absolute. We can understand the experience of that. Experience is also a kind of knowledge, So this kind of knowledge we can understand by dhi, higher kind of intellect. So that is why it is said that this higher kind of intellect, this higher kind of thing we must have through our knowledge. And this snake, and I started with snake and rope. This snake and rope, which is superimposed, odhyaropaman dhi, odhi aropa. Dhi means higher intellect. A means in Sanskrit not. Not high intellect. Aropa means your knowledge. Knowledge is false knowledge. It is called odhyaropa. Odhi a dhi. Because dhi is not there. And aropa. Aropa means it is your knowledge. It is superimposed. It doesn't mean that there is nothing. Something is there. So you have the false knowledge. That is the point. So you are afraid of snake, which is not there. Something is there. Rope is there. So something is there. So the rope is something. It has some entity. But what is superimposed on the top, that is false. Okay? So when you are a daughter, when you are a mother, what is happening? What is the original? Substratum. The bottom thing, the rope is called substratum. And the upper false thing is superimposed. So which is substratum? You are a human being. That is the substratum. Because I am human being, I am son, I am friend, I am a monk, I am a colleague. So I am so many things. So this is superimposed. The bottom is human being. If human being is not there, can you have friend? Can you have daughter? So which one is important? Human being must be there. Otherwise there will be no daughter, no friend, no colleague, no mother, no sister. But if there is no sister, human being will be there. If there is no rope, can you see the snake? So human being is the substratum. And all other is superimposed. And what is the superimposition? What is the superimposition? It is false. Snake was actually not there, but you saw snake. When you saw snake, you are definite that snake is there. As long as your wrong knowledge was there, you are sure that there is a snake. But when false knowledge went there, it is gone. Take the example of a rainbow. When you are seeing the rainbow, can you cut it, a portion of the rainbow, and paint it a different color? No. Because rainbow is not there. Mirage. Can you fetch some water from the mirage? You cannot. Because it is not there. Take another example. You have a dog, and that dog came in front of a mirror. What it will do? It will bark. It will try to jump to the other dog. After some time, what you will see? It will try to find the backside of the mirror, if there is any other dog or not. And then ultimately, what it will do? Okay, I shall crash it out. Say it will bring a hose pipe and clean the mirror. Okay, karma yoga. Karma yoga. Did the karma yoga and finish it. Okay? Dog is still there in the mirror. Then it started japam, meditation. And found, oh, the dog is still there. Did Raja Yoga, so the dog is still there. Okay. Then he started praying that dog, can you please go from here? I don't want to see you. So prostrated. But the still dog is there. All kind of yoga it did, but Dog is there inside the mirror. Take another example of a human being. If human being come in front of the mirror, and we have all the experience that if we come in front of the mirror and see the reflection, what is our experience? Okay, fine, it is a mirror. It is a characteristic of a mirror. It will reflect, and we are fine. We use this. We see our face, because we cannot see our face unless there is a reflection. We cannot see our face. Can you see your eyes? Only we can see the reflection of the eyes. And we are using this. So what is the difference then? The knowledge. The difference is knowledge. So we are seeing father, we are seeing mother, father is suffering, mother is suffering, but friend is happy. Or friend is suffering, but mother is happy. How can we remove this suffering? Can we remove this suffering? How can we remove this suffering? Do you think that inside the mirror the dog is there? How can we remove that? Only through knowledge. And no need of removing that dog. Do you want to remove the rainbow? I don't want to see rainbow. Mirage. I don't want to see the water there. It is there, it will go in normal course. No problem. Only we know that is a mirage. There is no existence. If it doesn't have any existence, can you remove that? Can you remove the snake? If rope is there and you saw the snake, can you remove that snake? You will bring the torch, you want to see, you bring one stick or something. You cannot remove it. It is not required also. Only when you know it is a rope, fine, done. So when daughter is superimposed, when mother is superimposed on the substratum human being, and mother is happy, friend is suffering, what we shall do? Only we know that we are the human being, and mother is superimposed. That's all. How can we get rid of our suffering? There are different ways. If we only know that we cannot remove this suffering because it is superimposed, it doesn't have any existence. When you suffer, do you suffer in your sleep? Do you suffer in your deep sleep? So you are suffering in one state when you are awakened or you are in the waking state. Then you are suffering. So which one is correct? How can you know the waking state is the correct state? If you suffer in dream, you are suffering. A tiger is chasing you, and you are running, you cannot run. And when actually tiger jumps on you, you wake up. And you say, oh, it is a dream. But during that time, it was real. So when we suffer in the waking state, we think, okay, it is real. Oh, you see. But in dream, deep sleep, you are fine. No pain, no suffering. So see, changing. Which is changing has no existence at all. And if there is no existence, how can you remove that? Bhagavad Gita says these things. It explains ego, the substratum, I, human being. In chapter 7, verse number 4, it says, Bhumi apo anala vayu khang mano buddhi revacha ahankar iti yang me bhinna prakriti rashtadha. 8 types of prakriti. My nature is divided into 8 categories: earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, understanding, and I awareness. This is prakriti. And this egoism, identification, superimposition, it is given in verse number 18 of 16th chapter. It is said, Ahankarang balang darpam kamam krodham chasamstrita. See, ahankara, egoism, balam, power, then darpa, insolence, kama, lust, and krodha, anger. So all these malignant people hate me. Hate me means self. In their own bodies and those of others. So those all are egoism. Our anger, superimposition. Our anger, our egoism, our power, our insulation. See, very carefully understand this. If there is any me or mine connected, I like this. My preference. If there is any me or my connected, that is false. That is egoism. So our happiness depends upon our understanding. There is no any secret trick there. Our relation in this world depends upon our understanding. There is no any secret about this. If we can understand it, Swamiji says, the selfishness, these all things are connected with selfishness. We don't like selfishness. So what is selfishness? It is superimposition, my preference. I like this, means for my happiness. So what is the difference, this selfishness and selflessness? We cannot understand that. Because all these are the function of ego and egoism, and for us, those who are not awakened, those who cannot separate ego and egoism, for them, selfless and selfishness is same. Only we say that. Similarly, desire. Desire is also liking and disliking. My liking and disliking is the desire. I like this, so I want this. So everything is connected with my and me is false. Superimposition. So try to discriminate this. Some people are awakened. It is called ego awakening. Through our meditation, that is a different subject. If our ego is awakened, we can understand that. For that we can do the meditation, we can do the things for our ego awakening. But for our day-to-day practice, our understanding is important. Try to understand which is superimposed. Our ego is identified, me, mine. Done. Analyze. It is our analysis, our deeper understanding. That's all. And it is not very critical. People are inventing so many things, creative mind, computer, supercomputer, robot. They are doing so many things. In comparison to that kind of thing, this kind of analysis is very simple. So this is the role play, is that. Do you have any question? Yes, please.
Whenever I hear these explanations, I'm always thinking about empathy and how I become aware of other people's suffering. For an example, if I've never met a human being before, but you show me a picture or a film of them crying, suffering, because they just lost their child or some bad thing happened to them, I have become very sad in just thinking about that person suffering, because I know how bad it is to suffer, and I don't like that I see another human being suffering, or an animal. Any of these living beings, when I see them suffer, they aren't mine, but I have a similar, I know because I have a human incarnation, I know how feelings, so I feel sad.
I could understand what you are trying to say. The point is this, you are concerned about someone who is suffering. But if you go to do something for that person, and that is your life threat, what we will do? Shall we sacrifice our life for doing that, or what we shall do at that point? The point is, as long as there must be some logic. The logic is this. Definitely we jump to help others, but the logic is, why should I? Ask this question, why should I? Is that our emotion? Is that our feeling? If it is feeling, if emotion, then it has no meaning, because today it is there, tomorrow it may not be there. Our emotion, our feeling, always remember, our emotion, our feeling is not real, it is temporal. Then what is the basis of that? Vedanta gave the answer. Vedanta says oneness of existence. In spirit, we are one. There is no difference between him and I. I can give you one example from the life of Sri Ramakrishna. See how this identification is strong. At that time, Sri Ramakrishna was in Dakshineshwar. And the Ganga river is flowing by the side of the Dakshineshwar. It is the bank. Dakshineshwar is on the bank of Ganga river. So one day, Sri Ramakrishna was just strolling on the bank of the Ganga, and suddenly he saw that two boatmen were quarreling and fighting on a boat in a distance in the middle of the Ganga. And one slapped another person. And Sri Ramakrishna on the bank, who was watching, he shouted. He cried. What happened? Because that slap, he was so identified. And he felt, he experienced that we all are one. He felt that the slap came to him and he cried out. See, this is the basis. Unless we have that kind of experience. Another example, one grass cutter was mowing the grass, the beautiful tender green grass. And Sri Ramakrishna cried by suffering. The grass, they are, crushed in the machine. So he cried out. So this is the experience of oneness. Only when we have that, yes, we shall do that. But that doesn't mean we shall stop before that. But our logic, our basis, our principle is this, oneness of existence. Unless we experience that, okay, it is a good work, ethical work. As a ethics you can do, but ethics is not the ultimate thing. You cannot solve any ethical problem by ethics.
It seems like you should step back a little bit and not get too emotionally involved.
Right.
That's what I try to work with.
Right. We have some concern with everybody, but the more you will be spiritually awakened, the more you can understand the oneness and real spirit of service. Otherwise, emotionally we can serve people, no problem. But we cannot understand, we cannot make the joy of it. We cannot have the real essence of this oneness and service. That is why most of the cases you see, the organization, the non-profit, they render service or voluntary work. There is a fight between them. It is only aggravate the egoism. Who will take the control? Who will do? Yes, I did this much service. Our organization made 2 super specialist hospitals. How much you have transformed. So this service, the litmus test of this service is, it will transform your consciousness. You will be transformed. Unless you are transformed, this service is only aggravate your egoism. Yes, please.
Even if I do not feel oneness, but if I can do something, I feel good, So that.
Well, these are this ethical problem. This is an ethical question. I have already mentioned that ethical problem cannot be solved by ethics. There were, when Swami Vivekananda came in this country, before that there were two very famous utilitarian. It is called utilitarian. Bentham and Mill. They were the philosopher. And their philosophy is the utilitarian. Happiness for more people. That is the theory they propagated. And it was accepted by huge whole world almost. But the point is, you feel happy to serve others. So which one is important? Serving or your happiness? Serving? Then you may not be happy. Both cannot be done, I feel good. So importance is my feeling. So this ethical problem cannot be solved from the ethical point of view. That is why Swami Vivekananda's ethical view, it is very important. If you go through the online, you say, I delivered one talk, I don't know whether it is there or not. I delivered one talk in Boston. They uploaded that on the YouTube. So I don't know whether it is available or not. But please see that. There is Swami Vivekananda's concept of ethics. Okay, please think it. Yes, please.
Swamiji, on those two questions, the Sikh Guru say that the way that you cleanse your soul and the area where you most forget I or yourself is in service. So, keeping that in mind, in the Sikh Guru's instructions, they say that if you keep service, then that's the only time where you forget your sense of self or your sense of I. So only through that way, don't you think so, is the best way to decrease the egoism, no?
Right. Definitely, it is. Bhagavad Gita also says like that. Okay, no. When you forget yourself, when you forget this I-ness, that is the highest.
But in the beginning, you're going to feel.
There are different ways. There are different ways to attain that kind of state, All are correct because all the seers, they propagated or they suggested this. So there are different ways. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkham Apnuvat Sarvastarotu Durgani Sarvo Bhadrani Pashyatu Sarva Sadbuddhimapnotu Sarva Sarvatranandatu Durjana Sajjano Bhuyat Sajjana Shantimapnuat Shantamucchete Bandhebhyo Muktaschanyan Vimochayet. May all be happy. May all enjoy good health. May all see happy events. May all be freed from miseries. May all be freed from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bondages. May the freed make others free. May the Supreme Spirit, the presiding deity of all sacred activities, be satisfied. For He being pleased, the whole universe feels satisfied. Om, peace, peace. Peace be unto you all.